Welcome to the Millionaire
Hello.
Course Q&A. We're so excited that you guys are here. Our Millionaire Course is about to begin on June 3rd with a really powerful opening ritual. So we wanted to kind of gather and answer any questions you guys had. If you didn't get a chance to submit your questions, if you did, Mark has all those. If you didn't, you can always put them in the chat and Mark will answer them here. So I'll go ahead and give them over to Mark and he can answer the questions he's got so far. Thank you guys.
Great. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's my intention that this is a powerful tool for you to really create the life of your dreams. That's my intention. Let's start the way I like to start everything if you want. Just you could even put your hands close to your head and just feel the heat. Feel the energy. And take a deep breath. And just relax and let that energy flow down through your whole body as you breathe out, releasing, relaxing, letting go. Just let everything go. Another deep breath. Let all stress go. Let all thought go. Let everything go. Just feel bathed in healing light. One more deep breath. Let it all go again. Feel every cell just being rejuvenated, filled with wonderful light energy. All the toxins just flowing out of your body. Feel you take in wonderful healing energy with every breath that you breathe in, and you expel all toxins with every breath you breathe out. We had some very good questions about the Millionaire Course here. I want to start by saying I have promised myself to give the essence away of what I know every time I talk. And so I will try to do that now. If I've succeeded, I remember one guy, I did a talk like this before, of course. It was live. And he came up to me after and said, you've told me everything. I don't need to take this course. I've got everything. And I thought, well, great. If you really do, good for you. Good for you. If that's all you needed was that little free introductory thing, good. That's, but that's rare. I think I know I need a lot of repetition, a lot of repetition. And, but here I thought about it. One way to say the essence of it all is to quote Eckhart, uh, I think, the most tremendous genius on the planet at this point, in my opinion. He gives us the essence of both our inner life and our outer life in the power of now. And he sums it up in two sentences, in a way, you could say. The inner life he takes care of by saying, to offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. Oh, all of our problems come from our resistance to what is. If we offer no resistance, if we really accept what is, we're in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. It's in the AA prayer too. May I accept the things I cannot change. May I have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Yes. The courage to change the things I can. Good. And the wisdom to know the difference. Yes. Accept the things you cannot change, and you have serenity. You have grace, ease, and lightness. That takes care of the inner. Now, my course takes care of the outer. Eckhart did sum it up brilliantly in The Power of Now. Again, in one sentence, he simply said, get the inside right, and the outside will fall into place. Get the inside right, and the outside will manifest. I really feel in my transformation from a total struggling poverty case in my 20s and early 30s to a very content multimillionaire today. I really feel 99% of the important work has been internal. Once you get the internal right, the outside becomes obvious and simple. You just take that step, that step. The next step becomes obvious. And that is the essence of what I know. Get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. So let's work on that. So I hope you do take this course. You get not only me talking live and answering questions, you also get an audio called Success with Ease of like, I think 8 hours where I went through the Millionaire Course book. It was really the Millionaire Course. I've gone back and forth about the name. It seems half the people prefer Success with Ease, half the Millionaire Course. So I've called it both. It's the only course with millionaire in the title where I say being a millionaire is not the important thing at all. There's nothing magical about the word million other than that everything is magical. All creation is magical, but uh, million itself is not significant. What's important is having the resources to do what you love, having the resources to do what you love. Whatever that may be, whatever number that may be, is a number you can create. Also, the the goal of $1 million liquid is really good and concrete, and you can do that if you want. I decided to do that, and so I did, and it was really one of the first things that uh, was measurable for me. It's the good thing about saying I want $1 million liquid is it's measurable. Where when you're affirming uh, the perfect relationship, where you're affirming living the life of your dreams, those things are a bit more vague, right? But affirming, I now have $1 million liquid cash is a good, solid, wonderful goal to go for as far as I'm concerned. So you'll get that entire 8 hours audio. Several people have gotten back to me that said they listened to it several times and then they tell me their miracle stories where they really have made wonderful changes in their lives and they've created that $1 million or more. You also get a PDF of the book, The Millionaire Course, PDF of a workbook that I put together for the course. And it's not just a thrown together thing. I spent a long time crafting that workbook, making it work, testing it in seminars. Uh, it's a great option for you to just work through that workbook. Uh, you'll be encouraged to do bi-weekly homework. Excuse me. Bi-weekly homework. And you can even have accountability with accountability groups and stuff. So I highly recommend this course. Satisfaction guaranteed. That's for sure. Okay, we have some questions. And I really enjoy answering these questions because they often take me to places that I don't think of when I'm talking, lecturing, whatever. So here's a question. What are the ways you've seen to work the best with manifesting? Vision board, writing goals in a journal, others you do now. What are the ways you've seen to work the best with manifesting? The tools, I guess you need specific tools. I haven't really used a vision board, but Shakti and I used to teach vision boards in seminars we would do together. Shakti Gawain and I used to do seminars together, and we'd bring in stacks of magazines and poster boards and glue and scissors and paper and just encourage people to make their own. We'd spend a good chunk of an afternoon. Uh, but I never made one myself. Uh, I'm not that visual exactly. I've done other things visually, but never done a vision board. But I have encountered over the years several people who said to me the same thing. They've said, I took your workshop with Shakti and I did a vision board and I put it away in my closet and forgot about it. And 5 years later, I pulled it out and almost the entire thing had manifested. I've heard that many times, even to the point where when someone says to me, "Oh, I took your workshop with Shakti," uh, my first thought is, I bet they're going to mention vision board. And that's what they do. That seems to be the best takeaway for a lot of people doing a vision board. So we can talk about that. If you're a visual person, we will first really work on imagining your ideal scene, imagining 5 years have passed, everything has gone as well as you could possibly imagine. What would your life look like? And then if you want to do it visually in some way in a vision board, that's wonderful. I highly encourage that. Vision board, writing goals in a journal. Uh, I think the single best things I've done, I had a journal to start with. I even had something I called uh, first I put, I am creating success with ease on the cover. Then I even called it for a while, Magician's Toolkit. Uh, for me, the single most powerful thing I really believe, and I update this every 6 months, so it needs updating. It's getting a little raggedy, but I carry around a list of my goals as affirmations, and we'll get into that. I have all my major goals at the top. I have in an easy and relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way, in its own perfect time. For the highest good of all, I pray. You don't have to add prayer. You can. And then I list my goals. I am now living my ideal scene I see in the light before me. And then I list all my other goals for my publishing company, my books, music, seminars. I end with this or something better is now manifesting in totally satisfying and harmonious ways for the highest good of all. So be it. So it is. I do think this is what worked best for me. I often think these courses I have, this course is like a vast buffet where I will give you several possibilities and pick what works for you, and leave the rest. Uh, I have a friend who had a yoga teacher who said, even whatever pose she gave, I think they were even talking in the physical asanas, the physical poses, but also she did other things in terms of meditation. And she said, whatever exercises I suggest, take them and make them your own. Make at least one change in them, she said. Make some change. to make it your own. And I thought that was impressive. And I realized that is something I have done over the years. I hear wonderful things from people, or I get these exercises or whatever, and then I apply them, I do them, and end up changing them in a way that works for me. So that's personally what I've seen to work best with manifesting, which we will get into, and I will encourage each of you to do in your own way, where you imagine 5 years have passed, you list your goals and dreams from there, and then you rewrite each goal and dream as an affirmation. And that is something I keep changing over the years. Right around January 1st and right around July 1st, I always sit down with my goals and I retype them all and make a clean sheet of paper, because after 6 months in my pocket, I carry it around in my pocket. You can see it gets a little raggedy. So it usually lasts 6 months. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I have to update more. Another question. Is the Millionaire Course less about building a life and more about building a business? I would say it's about both simultaneously. It's about success with ease. It is, I get into specifically ways to build a business, ways to finance a business. In Millionaire Course, I list a dozen different ways to finance a business. And I realized when I wrote it, even though I started knowing nothing about finance or anything, I'd never taken a business course or anything. In my early 30s, I ended up using the first 7 of the 12 ways I list to raise money. I found 7 different ways that really worked and are very helpful. I don't know why more people don't find more creative ways to raise money, because there are all kinds of ways. Like, for example, an artist or anybody creating any specific product can do a limited partnership. I've done it 3 times over the years. I didn't know a thing about it until I met these people that were trying to raise money for a movie. And they showed me their proposal. And movies are all financed, and Broadway plays, for instance, have been financed for years with limited partnerships. What's that? Well, you have the creative people that do the thing, the financial people that put up the money, and then they just split profits 50-50 on that particular project. So it's wonderful if you're starting a business, building a career, whatever, you can raise money without giving any equity away. You're not giving any of your company away. And you're not even making a loan. You're not guaranteeing payments back. The only thing you're guaranteeing is if that project does well, that particular project. I did it with a 4-album series that did okay. I did it with 2 different book series. One did okay, sort of break even. The other one did very well. Investors got 8 times their money back and were very happy with it. So definitely it's about both building a life and building a business. Uh, I've always felt, your work-life balance is so important. That's something I've always known. I think we come from a culture that's a workaholic culture, in my opinion. I think most people work too hard, and their family life and personal life suffers. Um, I decided on my 30th birthday to do this experiment where I would go for my dreams. I'd start my business, but I would do it in my own lazy way with my own rhythm. I battled with my doubts and fears. They said, impossible. You got to work hard to start a business. I said, let me try this as an experiment to go for my dream, but to do it in my own lazy way, to only work when I feel like it. Doubts and fears said, it won't work, won't work. And I was able to say to them, well, if it doesn't work, I won't be off any worse off than I am now. Because when I turned 30, I had no money, no job, was scrounging for the rent every month. Nothing was happening. I had no direction in life the day I turned 30. By the evening of that day, I had goals listed as affirmations. I had a direction in life. That's the one day that changed my life, my 30th birthday, because I came up with these tools that to this day I teach. I wrote my ideal scene. Much to my amazement, I imagined a successful publishing company. I'd been an actor and a musician and a spiritual seeker. I'd had no interest in business or money until I turned 30. I tried some horrible 40-hour week jobs. I got fired as a busboy and dishwasher for being too slow. I got fired as a typesetter for not showing up on time. And then I turned 30. And that's the day that changed my life. That's the day that I did the things that to this day I teach. These simple steps that work. They work for me. And I've been able to, I've taught them so long, offer so many adaptations of them that you can find something that works for you, something that works for you. It's all a matter of getting the inside right, and then the outside falls into place. Okay, is the Millionaire Course less about building life and more about building a business? No, it's about both. Uh, they're both equally important. There have been lots of programs I've started and not been able to follow through to with completion. If I join, how do I make sure I follow through to completion? Any strategy? Do you have a reading list? Well, uh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. And yes, I have a strategy, and the strategy is to repeat things, to repeat things. That's why not only do you get this course, you get it recorded, you can go back to it. You can also go over the book. That's a whole different way to approach it. You can also work through the workbook. That's a whole different way to approach it. There's all these bonus exercises. There are these guided meditations that I find very effective. Guided meditations have really changed my life too. I think my theory is that your your deep subconscious mind doesn't really know the difference between what we call waking reality and what we call imaginative guided meditation. So our experience that we have in a guided meditation can be just as powerful for us as our experience we have in life. So for me, these guided meditations have really helped. Uh, a meditation where you just imagine abundance flowing to you. And then you imagine you just you're putting your energy all over the world and then reaping wonderful abundance from that in an easy, relaxed manner, in a healthy and positive way, in its own perfect time for the highest good of all. These kinds of guided meditations can keep you on track. if you're basically saying you're not doing it to completion, I think what's happening then obviously is the course will start guiding you, but then you get off course, don't you? You get off track. You get off track with doubts, fears, any kind of distraction, um, all kinds of things our active minds come up with that get us off course. Procrastination, all these different things. Well, I remember hearing years ago a plane is off course over 95% of the time, but it just keeps correcting. The pilot keeps correcting. Now I guess it's all autopilot, except for takeoffs and landings. But the plane keeps correcting. So that's what I recommend for you there. If you're not following through to completion, you just need to keep correcting, keep finding something. And I will give you a ton of material so you have all kinds of options to get you back on course. It doesn't take many hours. It, it, if just even a few minutes a day might be enough to get you back on track. You can even skip some days. I remember hearing someone say, writing a book about you should do something for 10,000 hours. I can't, 10,000 hours is a lot of hours. I don't think that's necessary to master something at all. It's just a matter of getting the inside right. On YouTube, you see these 6-year-old musicians that have mastered an instrument. They haven't even, I don't know if they've lived 10,000 hours. So there are all kinds of ways to get back on track. And so that's how you can make sure you follow through. You have all of this material. Yes, do you have a reading list? I have some books I recommend, just the few books that have changed my life. I highly recommend. Uh, One is As You Think by James Allen, originally called As a Man Thinketh. That opens with a short poem that gives the essence of that book away. And in a way, it's the essence of what I'm teaching here, too. The poem is simply mind is the master power that molds and makes, and we are mind. Duh. I think mind is the master power that molds and makes, and we are mind. And evermore we take the tool of thought and shaping what we will, bring forth 1,000 joys, 1,000 ills. We think in secret and it comes to pass. Our world is but our looking glass. That sums up that book, sums it up. Then the end of chapter 2, he has another another poem by this woman named Ella Wheeler Wilcox. And that too is an essential, gives an essence. So just listen to this, just relax and take in these words. You will be what you will to be. Let failure find its false content in that poor word environment, but spirit scorns it and is free. It's a little dated and complex, but she means there's a false contentment in failure, right? That is blaming the environment. Later on, she uses the word circumstance for the same thing. Oh, it's the wrong environment right now. It's the wrong circumstances. I've known some people that believe, oh, it used to be easier to succeed. It's harder now. No, there's always opportunity. There's there's no need to blame environment or circumstance because you will be what you will to be. Let failure find its false content in that poor word environment, but spirit scorns it and is free. It conquers space. It masters time. It cows that boastful trickster chance and bids the tyrant circumstance uncrown and take a servant's place. The human will, that force unseen, the offspring of a deathless soul, can hew its way to any goal, though walls of granite intervene. Be not impatient in delay, but wait as one who understands. When spirit rises and commands, the gods are ready to obey. When you dare, using the tools of this course, use your spirit. When you dare dream, you will be what you will to be. When you dare to dream, the gods are ready to obey. The creative forces of the universe rush in to support you in some incredible way. That's the essence of that book, As You Think. I just have 2 books on my reading list, or maybe 3 if you're voracious, because there's just As You Think. Then the other book that totally changed my life was The Art of True Healing, which is a course in Western magic. It's not only about using meditation to heal your body, it's using meditation to create abundance in your life. If you want to do a simple magical ritual, a simple meditation called middle pillar meditation. And when we start everything, I do a simple adaptation of the middle pillar. That meditation we did in the beginning, just the 3 breath, is really an adaptation of the central meditation in that book, The Art of True Healing by Israel Rivardi. Then the only other book I really recommend is The Power of Now, just in general, for or transforming your life instantly in an easy and relaxed manner. We did publish another book years ago that really helped me called The Power of Partnership by Riane Eisler. That just sort of reinforced what I learned already, what I discovered, that the key to success is creating partnerships, win-win partnerships. She verified what I know, and that was a very good book. She talks about partnership in 7 different levels. First of all, our partnership with ourself. She said, do you have like an inner critic that's beating you up? Are you fighting with yourself? No, create a partnership with that inner critic. Have that visionary leader. Ask for the support of that inner critic. That inner critic has discriminating wisdom and can help you take the right steps. So you get a partnership within. And then she talks about intimate relationships. Of course, the key is win-win partnerships. Love and serve each other in a partnership. Then she talks about our work and career. Of course, partnership. Partnership is the key. She talks about our communities. Partnership is the key. Even our nation. Partnership. We got to work together, even globally. Partnership solves global problems. We realize we're one dysfunctional family, and we need to learn to get along in partnership. And that's the solution to the world's problems. And she even talks about our partnership with nature. We should have a partnership where we sustain, of course, the growth of everything on this planet Earth that supports and sustains us. And then her last thing is our partnership with spirit. Do we realize we are not only mental, emotional, and physical creations, we're also spiritual? Do we have a partnership with spirit? So really those 4 books, that's my reading list. As You Think, or As a Man Thinketh, The Art of True Healing. The first is by James Allen, The Art of True Healing, Israel Regardie. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And The Power of Partnership by Brianne Eisler are the 4 life-changing books I've found. Now I read a lot, but I read fiction for fun and for enjoyment and all kinds of things. Okay, here's another question. How long will it take to achieve my wealth plan? That depends on how long you want to take to achieve your wealth plan and how your plan. I've often wondered about that. I started because of a little exercise. I had done a little back to the land experiment when I was 22 or something that didn't work out at all. But just one night we were sitting around a fire and this one couple said, let's play this game we play at camp. They were teachers at a summer camp. They said, let's imagine 5 years have passed and everything has gone as well as you could imagine. What would your life look like? At 22, I have no memory of what I said. I've tried to remember. I have no memory. So it obviously had no impact in my life. But the day I turned 30, that's how I started making the changes I made in my life. I did that. So I just did it for 5 years. And it took me about 5 years to really get most of the pieces of that ideal scene in place. It took my real estate longer, but I knew it would, to go from total poverty to a big white house on a hill. That was, that one I mapped out a plan. That's one of the few plans that I followed exactly the original plan, which was one, move from my slum apartment in Oakland to a place in Marin County where I wanted to live and rent. I was renting in Oakland, just rent in Marin County. Then somehow find and buy after I knew it would take some time, but the least expensive home in Marin. That's exactly what I did. I got the least expensive home. I held on to that about, I think, 7 years, and I had enough equity to buy a really nice home in Marin. And I held on to that for about 7 years. And then I had the equity and the income by then to get the big white house on a hill. So for me, it took 5 years. It can totally vary depending on what you want and what you envision and the inner work you do. Um, there's nothing that says it has to be 5 years whatsoever. Could be much less. And of course, it depends on what your goals are and uh, if you've already taken any steps toward them or not. I'm so worried all the time about money. How can I trust the universe or trust in this course more? I have a whole chapter on mastering money, mastering time and money, because the two are really related. Uh, I can teach you to quit worrying about money, to turn money into a servant, not a master. Kent Nurburn. This is another book I might recommend. My friend Kent Nurburn wrote a book called Letters to My Son, because he had one chapter on money there that's really good. And he says money uh, is of central importance, or no, money is central to our lives. He says you can't deny money is central to our lives. It even defines us, at least in other people's eyes and all, so much. Money is central to our lives, yet has no central importance whatsoever. No one on their deathbed has ever said, I wish I would have made more money. I don't think in the history of humanity that's ever happened. So we can talk about mastering money. We can talk about just worrying in general. We will talk about that. I know a Zen koan about that I love. I studied Zen for several years, and there's two books of classic koans that one school of Zen works through. And one of the koans is that the student asks the teacher, how can I be free of the suffering of life and death? And the teacher says, how can you be free of the suffering of life and death? Don't worry about it. That's it. Don't worry about it. You worry all the time about money? Don't worry about it. It will be what it will be. Life will be what it is. It turns out money itself isn't the problem. The world out there itself isn't the problem. It's our own thoughts and feelings about them are the problem. And we will get into that because that's an essential part of mastering money. In this course, I want you to end up being a master of money. So it is your servant and a powerful servant that transforms your life. Can I use the tools in this course even if I'm in debt or struggling financially right now? Yes, that's the best time to use the tools in this course. When I started, I started with nothing. Then about 2 years, 3 years later, maybe, I'd started the company and financed it a lot through credit cards and just spent uncontrollably. And I was 65,000 in credit card debt. This was the early 80s. So I was thinking money is about 3 times more now. So in today's dollars, I was close to 200,000 in credit card debt when I started really applying these tools. And they work. They work. I became free of debt. It took a while. Okay. Here's another question. What if I fall behind? Can I still catch up or finish at my own pace? Yes, yes, yes. It's totally flexible in terms of time. I'm not that disciplined either about rigorously doing some kind of course. No, there's all these things you can go back later, pick it up later. You might want to just something I do with certain books or uh, I'll read something and I'll want to stop there and reflect on that for a considerable length of time sometimes. I don't want to move on to the next thing. I want to deal with whatever the information I just got, knowing I haven't realized it yet. I haven't realized it. I need to take some time. So yes, you can definitely move through the course at your own pace completely, completely. Okay. Do you know anyone who has had real results using the Millionaire Course? Yes, I've gotten many letters, many emails. I call them miracle stories. Uh, I'll mention a couple. Just I remember one came to a live workshop millionaire course. She was in debt. She'd bought a house right at 2008, and the house tanked in price. And when the economy tanked, and suddenly she was deep in debt and going to be foreclosed on. And was in real estate and she had virtually lost her job. She was doing nothing in real estate. She had no work, no income, and was about to be foreclosed on. She took my course. Then oh, it was maybe 2 or 3 years later. I'm not sure that I met her again. She came by, just saying she wanted to tell me what happened. She used my tools She created more income. She got out of debt. She handled her house. In fact, she had paid off her house and she had $1 million liquid cash. So good for her. It's one story. Another, my friend Vishma, he's a friend now. His dream was to travel with his family. He had 2 kids around the world and then live in some beautiful place where he could surf every day with his son. And that's exactly what he did. He ended up traveling around the world with his family, his wife and 2 kids. And now they live in Bali, right near the beach, and they surf every day. Those are just 2 stories. I've heard many, many more. So, yes, I know people who have had real results using the Millionaire Course, including myself, of course. Okay, what daily practices helped you the most in your journey? Oh, that's a good question. What daily practice? At this point, my daily practice is really quite simple. I do walk out every morning and thank the universe for my wife, for my life, for my health, for my wealth. I just start listing my gratitude list. As Oprah said, Oprah has become quite a teacher. She says, have an attitude of gratitude. I think that's been very useful. And I visualize abundance. I visualize abundance. I often then, when I go to my office, I'll often, first thing I will look at my assets and see whether they've grown or not. I'm to the point now where I realized a while ago when the stock market goes up like it did today, I make more in a day doing nothing than I made in about the first 33, 34 years of my life combined. Some days it loses that much, but overall, in the long run, it definitely earns a lot. So I'm to the point where, uh, I don't need to work or anything. I could live off my assets for sure. So, what daily practices helped you the most? Definitely visualizing abundance um, is a powerful thing to do. I do affirmations through the day often. I'll do affirmations. I'll just walk around and find myself repeating. If something comes up that I'll sense some resistance, I'll say to offer no resistance to life is to be in a state of grace, ease, and lightness. And I'll affirm abundance, abundance. The other day I found myself, uh, if you're old enough to remember Fiddler on the Roof, I saw it on Broadway when I was 16 or something. But Tevye there sings, If I Was a Rich Man, all day long. So I've changed the word, and I'll sing and dance around. Now that I'm a rich man. All day long I biddy biddy bump. Now that I'm a wealthy man. I do that. So who knows? Maybe that daily practice is one of the best things I do. Just to feel wealthy. Get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. Mark, what was the turning point for you in becoming a millionaire? I've touched on that, I think. Definitely the turning point was my 30th birthday. I realized I woke up with no goals. I'd been wandering around for years. I had no money. I had no goal. By the end of that day, I had my ideal scene written. I had my list of goals written, and I had a list of goals as affirmations written. And then over the next few days, few weeks, for every major goal, a plan emerged, and I did a one-page plan. I knew I needed to keep it simple and short for my subconscious mind. One-page plan. That's that was the turning point. My 30th birthday and the few days that followed. I often say the plans don't have to be great. My entire first business plan for my goal of starting and building a successful publishing company, my affirmation was, I am now building a successful publishing company in an easy and relaxed manner, healthy and positive way. My plan, took another sheet of paper, my plan. Let's see, I remember it vividly. I put step one, read a used business 101 textbook. I'd never studied a bit of business. Two, talk to people who know more about business than I do. And that was it. That was my first plan. That's all I could think of at the time to do. But that was enough. I went and read a used business 101 textbook. I talked to my neighbor guy who had a little local business. Talked to my dad who worked for a big corporation. I remember saying, so you worked, it was a corporation, right? So is there a difference between a partnership and a corporation and I mean, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. So uh, I was asking questions like that, and that was my plan, and it led to the next step. So that was the turning point. What if I don't want to have my own business? Will this course still help me with my personal goals? Yes, yes. Uh, it's great if you don't want to have it. You don't need, uh, we're all so different. And uh, this course is highly flexible, highly flexible. And take what you need and leave the rest.
I don't really want my picture on there.
Pardon? I heard somebody say something.
I think we just accidentally had somebody unmuted.
That's okay. It's that was it. It's time to wrap it up anyway. So I wish you well. I hope you all continue with this course. Uh, I guarantee it'll be worth your time. I guarantee it. Uh, so
Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited about it, you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat the link. And since you all were so kind to join us today and to give us your time, we'd love to offer you $100 off. So I'm going to put the coupon code in here too, QA100. So I'm typing it for you guys right here so you can see that in the chat. We really appreciate you being here. We're so excited to kick off this course. I mean, it's going to be super powerful. As you can see, Mark, Mark is a vast wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much, Mark, for today. It was awesome. And thank
thank
you
you,
all for being
everyone.
here. Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
Mark,
we'll
I just
send,
want to
we'll send
say
the, oh,
this is how I found out about you. Your book from like 1981.
Ah, yes, yes.
So that's how I found out about you. I had this book from like 20 years ago and I picked it up like 2 years ago. And so it really helped me. I just wanted to share this with everyone. You should include that on your reading list.
Oh, that's great. What book was that then? 81. That was,
Tantra for the West.
oh my God, yes, yeah. Yeah, I've done a revised edition of that actually. It's, yeah, Tantra for the West.
It was like, it was sort of like everything that you were talking about. It's really simple and really helped me a lot. So I was like, oh, let me be on, but I didn't think there was only going to be 10 people so that I could actually thank you directly. So this is very exciting.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah.
thank
And
you.
just and your whole attitude about easy and relaxed manner is really spoke to me. I've never heard anyone talk about it like that. And so I wanted to thank you for that as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm lazy. It's the path of the lazy person's path. Lazy
Yeah.
person's guide to success.
which I love,
Yes.
which you don't hear about that. So I think that's what makes you unique, and that's what spoke to me a lot. So
Great. That's great to hear. That's wonderful to hear.
yeah, so
Thanks.
pleasure, honor. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Be
that's
well,
so awesome.
everyone. Be
Thank you
well.
guys so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time. Someone's asking for it. And then we'll send you guys the replay too with all the info you need. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you
Great.
soon.